Welcome back, my YouTube comers. Today, we are going to do this little bit of stories. Well, y'all heard about C-Team, stuff I make stories like that. I could tell you how the CJ... Some of y'all ask me why is CJ part of C-Team. He's an evil person. Technically, what y'all say is true and half not true. See, we're going to show y'all a story how he became a C-Team Mega. And how he get all the evolved. Like they say, how can CJ get all them powers? He didn't. How did he earn that? He really didn't earn all that. He technically got his soul traded by a power. So today we are going to learn about CJ. We're going. Well, it's a character I made up. So yeah. And while we're doing that, I'm probably going to build a house as a way. And I'm going to tell you the whole story about him. Well, when he was little, his father used to be fire, and his mother used to be water, okay? He had a brother that always helps him in situations. Since Satan wanted to do all that stuff, he comes out of nowheres and reappears out of nowhere, tells his father, I'll trade you my evil spirit for your child. Which he knew that something was going on, and he knows, which Satan knew what was going to happen in the future. So his father said no trade. You see, because CJ is a legendary type, and he knew he was all types, so he wanted to use his son for evil, not for good, because he knows his son can be all types, so anything that hits him makes him stronger. Y'all ask how? I don't know. Anything that hits him make him stronger. You throw fire at him, he's fireproof, waterproof, darkproof, anything. He's all the types. And his father said, no, he is only one son, and that is God's son, not your son. So he turned around and get mad, and he said, alright, then we'll have to fight then. So he used his cross, the powerful cross that clearly CJ used to have, but he used them as pickaxes now, and vanished him to a different dimension. Satan said, you'll pay one day. Watch. You won't have, well, sorry I'm stuttering because it's been a long time I told this story. You will never have this child ever again. And he never came, he's like, okay. 5 months later, no, 5 years later, the kid was about 12, and his father started training him ever since he was a kid. Then everything happened on his birthday, and he went to Chuck E. Cheese, Five Nights at Freddy's. He got to see a new animatronic called Iron Super CJ. Specifically, he didn't know what was going on with Iron Super CJ because they didn't know he was an actual animatronic. He didn't even know he was a new animatronic. So his father was curious too, and Iron Super CJ brought his father to the back and said, "Don't worry about your son. Your son will be with me." And he left. Nobody knows why he did that, or why he was created, or anything else. But all he said, your son's coming with me one day. And CJ was a little kid at the time. His father got slayed by Satan and his mother, and he tried to go after the child and try to slay him. Sadly, his brother had to fight him, and he threw him in the water where he was crying, and he tried to stop him, but technically his brother fell in fire and drowned there in pits of lava. He drowned in lava. So then he turned around, and his father and his mother was in graves, and God told him stuff that he didn't want to hear. And he says, my fault. And he said, no, that's just the beginning. Sooner or later, you will have friends that's going to help you fight him off together. And y'all going to fight till the day till the world ends. He didn't know what he was talking about. So he said, beware, my son. Your powers are not overrated, but overkilled. Means that his powers made for destruction. It's made for saving heroes and people and girls. Sad part, he didn't know what he was still talking about, so his father turned around and said, "You have the dragon sword." So that means he can, I think that, I'm not sure, I never went down too deep to the story, but years passed by, and then he got taken by a bunch of random people that had been beating him, brutalizing him. Years passed by, and he said, "I will take any lick that this person does." And he signed the contract. Every mistake that a kid does is 30,000 licks. Yeah, trust me, that's a lot. And some people don't get that he was helping other people. Most of them were doing it on purpose, but CJ was doing it just to help people. He just wanted to help, and they told him that, "No, you're not helping. You're just making the situation worse." Oh, sorry, buddy. And CJ came around, and when they hit him, he became immortal, which that he was like all his skin was healing up fast, and they didn't get what was going on. They looked at him, and it was like, that's funny. It never happened like that before. They hit him again. Sadly mistaken that he started getting red. His eyes start glowing red, and something was growing inside his eyes. They showed the doctor, and the doctor said, "I'm sorry to tell you, but this kid is turning somebody you don't want to see." And every time they kept hitting him, they said, "Stop, I'm warning you." And he said, "I don't need no warning." And once they hit him, it was over with. Then CJ grabbed him by the neck and slammed him and said, don't you ever touch me again." And then C-Team started breaking out. Some people that were one of his friends helped him break out, and then they start doing this and that. And yeah, the reason why I'm making two of these because slimes can jump over that. And the reason why people kept coming after him, because you see, he had the power. That's why Satan wants to come after him every second. And he was a hero, plus he was with God, so he didn't like that at all. He said, "Either you come with me or you're going to die." So he's like half dead, so if he does die, he comes back to life in dark. Or Angel Guardian comes save him. Which he is the Angel Guardian, I don't get though. And then once the person told him that you're not coming back to life, he dies and comes back to life at the end. And then something else starts happening. He started getting random photos, and someone told him that, "Don't be afraid, it's me." He didn't know what was going on at first, and he started going to Brentwood. Brentwood told him that, "Hey, since you have all that weird commotion, maybe you can come stay here for a night." His name was, I think it was DJ, I'm not sure. I didn't go all the way past the story. Yeah, it was DJ, and CJ said, "Who are you?" "I'm DJ." DJ was one of the famous heroes of all times. Clearly, sadly, CJ was not understanding. And he's like, "Let me help you out. I'm DJ from another dimension. I'm here to protect you at all times." So some bullies came after him, and then they start saying, "Well, CJ ain't gonna be helpful," and all that stuff. And they said, "Well, CJ is the strongest hero I ever created," which he wasn't really created. He was created by a world called, no, I didn't get to the part yet. He don't even know when he was created. But then something happened to him, and he started losing control, and his body temperature was going higher and higher. They checked his fever, and his fever was like almost 2 billion degrees Fahrenheit. They didn't understand why he was getting all... Can you get out my way? Thank you. They didn't understand why he was how he was that high, and why his fever was all high. But they said specifically that his powers are getting overrated, which means that he might be able to lose control of his powers, which I didn't believe in, which people didn't believe in at first, but they said CJ is not ordinary CJ. That's when he got his name called CJ because they doubled his name. They got that name from some bullies because they call him CJ because he was all creepy and all that. And then then 20 years later after basketball, they won't win the games, but the bullies kept punching people, fouling and all that. And the referees weren't calling it because the bullies were the referees. But they hit him, it was going to be a foul. So he turned around and said, if the rule of the game is you call a cheat, you automatically win. I don't know how that game goes, but where the game they play is kind of weird. But then they start calling game cheat mode, something like that. I'm not sure. I didn't go back to the last series. And he said cheat mode, and they automatically won. The bullies got mad, and then started having a fight. His friend got, how can I say it without getting really disturbing? He got shot in the head, but then CJ turned around and got stabbed in the heart, and where his heart stopped pumping blood, then they start looking, and they said he's still living. So when they tried to stab him for a second round, he grabbed his hand and his eyes glowed red again. And then they started getting scared because they didn't know what was going on. And CJ said, "Try me." That's all he said. And when he said that, they backed up because they was too afraid to see what's going to happen. And when he said, "Try me," they didn't take another move. They was frozen in fear. CJ backed up and left the building. A few hours later, he said, "I want to go in my room and lay down." And he said, "I'll come back in 5 minutes." This girl said, "It's been 5 minutes. I want to know if CJ's okay." They said, "Go check on him." And when she checked on him, he kind of wasn't moving. So he was probably hung. But yeah, he literally hung himself. But sad part about it is he went fight somebody downtown. Well, he went to hell for that. They didn't know it was suicide call. The cops didn't even know what to do. Cops were confused. So CJ turned around and thought. Well, CJ turned. Alright, I'm back, y'all. I was doing something for my mom. As I was saying, where was I? Oh yeah, I was at the part where CJ was meeting Satan. Then he said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am Satan from the person that killed your father." He didn't know what he was talking about at first, but he said, "This will remind you." Then he got really upset about it. He said, "You're the one that started the mess, and I'll end the mess." So he laughed about it for a while and said, "I want to see you try." He went and punched, and he threw his punches diagonally, which Satan was dodging every hit, and he was too fast. He said, "Give me your hand, and I'll make you stronger where you can defeat Jesus." Which he said, "No, if you try, I'm literally end up defeating you." So Satan didn't know what he was talking about, so he just grabbed his hand and put dark magic in him. Which, that's how he got all the powers and all types. Dark magic. That's how he started getting all types. Which he was only a fire and a water type. He was never all types before. But when they threw dark magic on him, it was over with. It was like the end of him. And then they started having dark magic, and when he threw dark magic, then CJ started feeling a little bit off, and he said, "I feel different now." And he said, "Yes, that's the evil medication to turn you against." And he didn't know what he was talking about still, so he turned around and his eyes started glowing white. Which I think it was supposed to glow black or white, I'm not sure. But yeah, he started glowing white instead, and when he started attacking, every villain attacks him, and he was getting attacked bad. So CJ started fighting what was right. He said, I'm going to take what I need to take and leave. Which he did have the power to do that, and he laughed. He sat there and laughed about it, so really he didn't know what was going on. When he sat there and laughed about it, CJ said, I'm serious. He said, I'm serious too. What you going to do with me? Then he started using his powers overrated, which it was getting out of control. So CJ destroyed hell and blew up everything else, except he got so mad and tried to destroy everything. He went and turned the table of destruction, which didn't turn out like he planned it out, but then CJ turned around and got stronger and got stronger, while he was getting weaker and weaker. So the sad part was, whole thing was that if he could have made it through, he could create chaos, and some reason he didn't know what he was feeling no more. Then he started damaging Brentwood and made the place haunted. Ever since, no good person went back there, but the worst people, some bullies, want to act all bad, went back there, and years passed by, and then CJ started to realize that who he wasn't really him. And I was like, and everybody, and y'all know, I know y'all people was like, well, is it kind of too late for that? It's a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of too late, but he started realizing once he damaged every person in the world. Then he started helping heroes, and he went back home. They gave him an adoption they went and got adoption, and then he started finding real parents that were less abusive. Since he started going dating websites since he was 21, people afford him to not, well, since he wished he was 21, and they couldn't tell if he was, well, he had beard and all that, and they thought he was still 12, and clearly out to him he was still 21. So everything I knew about him was always off. So they started telling him that this is you now. And now and every time he got mad, the whole world started shaking, and the chaos spears and all the chaos controls started getting crazier. So he started living his whole life at Five Nights at Freddy's, but the sad part was he wasn't strong enough for whoever was conquering the earth. He felt bad for whoever did this to him, and then he started helping people. Yeah, the reason why I'm making out of time is because I feel stupid right now. And ever since he was little, they said, ever since he was little, he's been hit and threatened and enslaved. When they start figuring out, cops start arriving at his house, said, here, take this. And he said, what is this? He says, a chaos spear to control your minions. And yeah, he was like, well, I don't want chaos spear to control my minions. I don't want nothing at all. So he left, and he said, I don't want to be you. I don't know who you are. They said, take my hand, you'll be protected by me. And when he started doing that, they started leaving the place, and then chaos spears and chaos controls start happening. And they said, you are not going to be alone. And CJ still didn't understand what was talking about, because his whole mind was erased after the explosion. So he started finding C-Team. C-Team says, I can find out who you really are. Which he was like, really? He's like, yeah, it don't take long at all. And he was like, wow, and the people that were nice to him, trying to help him, instead he was pushing a little bit too far back from him. And then CJ started realizing that who he wasn't the day he died yet. The fun, pretty much they said the fun is just begun, but clearly there was no fun to it. I don't know why they said the fun was just begun. Then CJ started realizing that him wasn't the same as usual. He died at some people died by the souls of the living undead. So technically CJ was still living, yet he was still coming to the C team, which he said, I have no home if I get abandoned. He said they abandoned me every church I went to. And one church he didn't go to, and they told him. Gave him the location, and he told the church that I've been going to church. They kicked me every church out just the way who I am. And the preacher said, today's your lucky day. He said, why? He said, because God told me I knew you was coming. Because God told me you're a legendary. A kid that don't know yourself yet. But he said, mark my words, that you will be on a C team. And your journey is to find out who you really are. And what happened to your past. Since CJ was so upset, he started realizing who he really was. Then he started turning out being good again, in which he started changing his face, the creepy face, to a normal face. Clearly, that's what the whole situation was. Then cops start bowing down to his knees, but they never bowed down to his knees just yet. They came barging the church door and caught the church on fire and under arrest CJ and accused him using his fire powers, which they knew he had fire powers. C-Team broke. Someone walked in, the judge and some angel guardians said, I will smash your head against that wall if you don't let him out. Which the judge was filthy and had a huge attitude, said, what are you going to do? Smash his head against the wall and said, we will under arrest you because he is illegal. Copied it in the scroll. It said illegal to touch CJ and throw him in jail, which I think it was unfair technically, because if you're on the C team, it's kind of illegal. The cops, even the cops can't tell the C team what to do. The judge can't say nothing. If the judge says something, the judge's too afraid if he goes to jail, he won't get out. So the situation got worse, and CJ started coming back to normal, and things went out okay. Just the only thing was that CJ was little at the time and didn't know any better. So CJ starts saying some stuff which they didn't know what he was talking about at first, but hey, he was kind of getting over it. They was kind of getting over it a little bit. Since CJ was a little they thought he was over dramatic, so CJ started teaching some heroes how to fight, and the judge was so mad, so sad and cried and said, CJ, I want you to teach my cops how to fight demons. He was like, well, I can't do that. Well, I can teach them how to shoot bow and arrows, stuff like that, because they didn't know how to fight them guys, but C-Team did. So, the reason how C-Team got control, because they had holy water. The demon darks were made out of holy water, plasm, and I could tell you what the holy water was for. The holy water was supposed to weaken the demons in the inside of their bloodstream, which they made acid to burn them to ashes. Which it wasn't the type of human ashes, it was holy ashes. Which it was blessed. The acid was blessed. So they used a lot of stuff and he blessed everything. So then he started using his powers overrated, which he can't use fire type moves, but he can use other types. Which he told them he can't use a fire type move on another fire type move. It will not work. But I can use. People start telling him you can't make an electrical type move against a water type. He said yes you can. It's a way you have to do. He said you could fry a villain's brain just for that. If a person is electrical type, if he is male armor and iron, which his uncle was made of electro type. He was electro type and an iron type. He said the only thing that electro type is not made of, and his brain is not shocked, is a human brain. If you fry the human brain, he would not be living anymore. And it depends how high his electrical shock is. The reason why CJ can't get out of it, but he can get shocked, but it'll be making them stronger. They tased him multiple times, and the cops been tased. They were so mad because they got so mad because they thought the taser was actually going to take them down, but it took them down. So the cops were like, "Wow, taser didn't even take them down. How sad is that?" And CJ's like, "Yeah, I think you're kind of stupid for that." So then he started realizing that the cops can't fight him no more, or they will be considered as guilty. I wasn't gonna consider that's what they thought. At first they thought that he was gonna say consider his death, but no, he said no. Why would I say that? You're going to be considered as guilty and guilty charges. And ever since CJ started seeing women getting beat up, then his eyes started glowing red. Iron Super CJ saw that. He said, "CJ, are you okay?" He's like, "No, you better back up or something's going to be ugly." Iron Super CJ didn't understand what he was talking about, so he said, "Back up or it's going to get ugly." Years passed by and CJ said, he said one more time. He said, "If I have to say back up one more time, it will get ugly." And Iron Super CJ backed up on when he smashed the man's head against the wall. And the person was crying, saying, "I'll stop." He said, "No, you kept going. And guess what I do? I hurt people that hurt women." Which the person sat there and laughed about it, thought it was funny. He's like, "You thought it's funny? You think it's funny?" He's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Because he started seeing the eyes. He said, "Look at me in the face. You think I'm joking right now?" And his voice started changing. He said, "Now you're really getting me mad. I could get mad as I want against you. The cops can't do me nothing but hand me something that you don't want to see." And he didn't know what he was talking about. He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Oh, a baton, a knife, a weapon. Any weapon the cop has in his hand, they will give it to me, and they will tag team you." Which the cops are allowed to do that when C teams are allowed, but they can't do it when the C team's not here. If the cop said why he said that, why he did that, C team would say, "Oh, we told him to do it." Cops don't care. As long as C team tell him to do it, then he's good to go. Now if the C team didn't tell him to do it, then they would got in trouble for it. If they don't have a C team card that you can get away with stuff, CJ can speed 30,000 miles per hour without crashing, which his overpower, which he can chase a Bugatti, any vehicle he can run after. And clearly to his location, that cop cars are not faster than his speed. He caught a vehicle and knew where the vehicle was going, grabbed a tree and got in the middle of the way. Which CJ got ran over back in his past, in 2010, he got run over. Then he started realizing that everything happened in his past was getting worse. So he cried every night, and they threw him in the hospital, which they didn't realize he was immortal until they realized he was healing every bone in his body. They tried to throw the needle in him, took the indestructibleness away from him because he don't want the indestructibleness. But when the needle got in him, it couldn't come out. They was like, "That's funny. Usually the needles always come out." The reason why, because his body sealed when the needle went in. And when the needle went in, it got sealed shut where the needle couldn't come out. So they had to break it. They had to break the needle inside and push and they had to cut the skin open just to get in. Hurry up, get out before it sealed up. It took 10 seconds for it to seal, which they had plenty of time for that, but they just damaged his body by doing it. So his body had another stuff to heal. So CJ started realizing who he was in the past wasn't really what he did in the future. They said CJ is not who you are, it's who you made of. So CJ started talking about his life, and he said, "Well, you see, my powers are not overrated because of this. The reason why I'm overrated because people been bullying my friends for the longest, and I don't know how to control it. They said, CJ, you have a temper which you can control. Well, preacher kept helping him, and CJ backed off the people that he loved, and he said, I backed off the people that loved me in the past, and they don't know how to destroy him. They said he been created, but he cannot be stopped. And the preacher did not get that at all. Because usually when you create, you know how you create something, it can be stopped? CJ is a different type. Once he's created, he can never be stopped. Which the preacher didn't get that. The preacher said, well, any monster creates the monster can be stopped, and the good monster dies. And the bad monster lives. CJ said, well, you got the story wrong. He told him everything he knows, and the preacher was so shocked. It's like, poor thing. And he said, here, take this. It's a Bible. You need the Lord. And he didn't understand that what he was taught. He said, I know who the Lord is. I met him in person. And the preacher really got even more shocked. And he's like, I'm shocked. Because I didn't know you know the Lord. He's my father. And the preacher didn't know that was his biological father. His other father's, his real father named Jason Voorhees. I think it was Jason Voorhees. Not Jason Voorhees like the killer Jason. The different Jason. And his mother was called, I didn't make up the name for the mother and the father. I said mother and father. Usually I used to call him mother and father, but his father, biological father, didn't create him. God created him in the middle of nowheres, and he was picked up by some family that were superheroes, which he didn't have superpowers until they hit him with so many whips. And he wasn't born with powers. He was created by powers, which he can never be stopped. Which I know y'all laughing about that. I know how y'all say, oh, he can be stopped. He can be stopped by another monster. Which is impossible. The reason why they say that, because they start powering up crystals. They said no one in this world could power up crystals. Then some start shaking. The crystal starts shaking, glowing red, and pointing right to him. And Iron Super CJ looked at him and said, "You can control crystals." And animals start coming to him. Bees, roaches, spiders, all coming to him. And every insect and every animal came to him and didn't harm him. He was like, Iron Super CJ said, "You are." And he said, "I am what? You are." And he didn't understand what he was talking about. He said, "I am what? I don't get what you're talking about. You are the Son of God." He said, "You are the Son." I was like, "The Son? What are you talking about? The Son of God or the Son? The Hippo Son of the Galaxy." Which Iron Super CJ said, "You are the Sun. The sun that been created by the moon." And Iron Super, he's like, "Yeah, so I've been looking for the moon all day." And Iron Super CJ said, "I am the moon. I didn't know who created day." Which he started getting a girlfriend that creates the day. And his girlfriend made it to the day, and she was the Angel Guardian. So he cannot date Angel Guardians. It was illegal for him to do that. He didn't know that she was the Angel Guardian until she became the Sun. When she became leader of him, and he didn't like that. So, and he had her name was Bright Light, and they had another one called Darkness Girl. And they had when they went back in the past, everything, you know how can I say, it's kind of weird, because he went in a dimension that was the opposite. Boys were girls and girls was boys. And the names are the same, just they were girls was boys and boys were girls. Alexis was a boy and Jason was a girl. Technically, the whole thing started that he smashed the crystals in pieces, one of the crystals in pieces, and he found a girl that he trusts, which they started dating for a while and broke up. CJ said, "I don't need a girlfriend." Iron CJ said, "You need a girlfriend that be trust and love. What if you are the only one that can control the power?" CJ didn't know what he was talking about. So CJ started getting depressed and felt dark inside. So he started dating Hannah, and yeah, everything turned out well. And she was the angel guardian. They said, well, it's okay, because the only person you're gonna find is the angel guardian. So he started dating her. They dated for a good while, and then he started trusting some new people. It was shoot, I forgot her name. I put Hannah in the middle of the game, so yeah, I like doing that. It's my favorite thing to do. If y'all want to be a superhero too, links. Meet me down in the comments below if you want to be one of them, one of the C team. I would gladly to make a character for you. I am really, really good at that. I could tell you your superpower. Clearly, I'm the one that creates your superpower for you. You don't have to do all that. And I could tell you what your character looks like. You could try to draw it out. If you can't draw, then you can, if you're good at drawing in person or computer, it's fine with me. If you're going to do it in 3D, that would be really awesome. But, yeah, I don't know how to draw at all. So, if I didn't know how to draw, I would draw the real CJ. I don't know how to draw stick people. And CJ was little. He never been trusted in life, but preacher trusted him and said, I will bring you to my church. They've been a shootout night at the church, and everybody said, get on the ground. Everybody got on the ground. CJ stand up, and he said, you just heard what I said? Get on the ground. CJ sat there and laughed and laughed. He was like, you think you're the only person you think you're the baddest person out here? You shoot me, you're going to make the worst mistake you ever did. You're going to regret that mistake. He didn't know what he was talking about, so... Oh, whoops. I almost hit the fan and broke it. But he said, what do you mean, what mistake? CJ sat there and laughed and said, you're going to make the worst mistake. I'm just telling you. He tried to punch CJ, and CJ dodged a hit fast. He was like, what are you? And CJ said, I am a legendary. A legendary that can't be killed by his own father. And the person sat there and laughed and then choked him, and the gun been dropped. Everybody got back up, and they all looked at him and said, hey, what's going on? His girlfriend said, hey, babe, what's going on? And he saw him choking. And the powers CJ had, she was so terrified that she didn't want nothing to do with him. And he didn't tell her what happened. He just told her that he had powers and all that. But you know, Psycho Girl, yeah, I copy some of the movies, just to let y'all know. But I don't copy the character. I've been looking up some of the stories and all that. I was like, well, story don't make sense though. So what the story they say it's not technically awesome and all that. I'm not gonna say it's amazing, but it's kind of good. But I was like, hey, let me make my own character. It'll be better than their story. And it turned, when I said it, they said, that's the best story I ever heard. I was like, really? They said, yeah, it's better than Spider-Man, Captain America, and all that stuff. I was like, really? I didn't know it was better than Captain. They said your story made more sense than anything else. Which and they said why CJ was slave and no one else was. All the humans weren't. He said cause his personalities, which they thought he was talking his stuff. I was like, no, not that. Not that type of personality. Oh no, he never does that. The personality he had, he started seeing demons, and he thought he was the only person that could see that. Which they said, and he was diagnosed by a demon eye. No one understand him at the time, and they said, no, he don't have a demon eye, does he? And they all looked, and he said, yes, he does. My son has a demon eye, which he never had a demon eye at first. But yeah, I'm still building the house, just to let y'all know. I'm just talking while I'm building the house, because I know y'all don't want to hear the same songs over and over again. Hold up. Alright, y'all, I'm back. I had to use the restroom. Well, CJ was kind of upset. Well, wait, where was I? Oh, yeah, the part where people liked my story. Well, people liked my story, and, yeah, I was like, okay. Whatever you say, because I didn't know they was being sarcasm, or because they sounded like they was being sarcasm. I was like, are you being sarcasm? I mean, nah, it's a good story. You should write it down, make a movie about it. Everybody said, I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know how to write books because I need to plot and all that, and I don't want to waste a lot of money just for a movie, and people will not watch it. I was like, people gonna watch that? Come on. They said it was better than Sonic the Hedgehog and all that. I was like, well, Sonic and them are in it. Just I'm not sure how to bring them out. Bring actually all the characters that made the characters out. I could try that, but other than that, it's kind of weird. But yeah, thing was about the whole thing, they were looking towards for me to make the show. So I was like, well, I can make an episode about CJ, but because it's not going to be a movie, it's probably going to be a whole episode like Naruto is. Y'all know how Naruto is, long episode and all that. Y'all should know how it is when it comes to Naruto and all that. I love Naruto. Well, technically he started earning new powers, at least web powers, climbing up walls. So I technically stole all that from the Marvels and DC. As y'all can see, I did kind of steal all that, but I didn't steal it. I borrowed it because every new power I was thinking of, I was like, well, every new power I think of, they already have that power. So they can't tell me I'm copying right, because I was technically borrowing the powers that they had. At least I'm not making the same costumes at them. Like, say, hey, I'm Spider-Man, pew, pew. I have web climb, I'm using iron power. Yeah, at least I'm not doing all that. Then they'll kind of think I'm copywriting. They said, no, it's not copywriting if you have your own character and you have the own costume. I was like, well, I gotta make that. I gotta see if anybody can make that. I just can't make it too obvious, clearly. Because CJ don't wear a cape. He wears something. CJ Dykes wears a cape. That's a different story. But his a red cape with full of hairs in it. Looks like he been in lava for years and never got brung out. Well, really, what happened to CJ, he got upset and started leaving the place. Five Nights at Freddy's. Then CJ came along and started trust, and Hannah came back with him. She said, I can't live without you. So, because she cried in tears, and CJ looked, some girl ran to him, and he looked right in the girl's face, and she'd been slapped. He was so upset because she wasn't saying who did that to her. He kept repeating himself, who did that? Who did that? And don't you dare lie to me, because I know in the eyes that I know who did it. She said her ex-boyfriend. He said, where does he freaking live? And when he said that, she was so scared she didn't even want him in the house. She was afraid he was going to harm him. Say, I'm going to give him a good visit. Say hello to the hammer. And she was kind of getting afraid because the way he's saying it, he was being sarcastic because she knows his stories and how he beat up men, and men apologized and kept apologizing. And clearly the men's were too scared to touch the women at all. They don't even want to tap on them because they was afraid CJ was going to come out of nowhere. But she knows CJ already, and she knows how he rolls, and clearly he said, no, I don't put my hands on men unless they put their hands on women. I say hi and all that, but when it comes to putting their hands on women, especially their mothers, it's going down, and they would wish that he said, I repeat, wish that they never touched you. You don't even know that he touched you. He'll be too afraid. But he said the fears would come off for a while once they're bloodshot. And when she thought he was gonna punch him in the face and make their eyes bloodshot. He was like, no, not that type of bloodshot. Bloodshot means that they will never ever put their hands on it, touch you, no certain way they can. They'll be too afraid. Means they can't get down. So technically, CJ went to say hi, little visit, and punched him. And the person and they said on the news that Iron Super CJ was watching the news, having fun with his friends, and started watching the news. They said they pointed a gun to CJ. Iron Super CJ flipped and ran to the house because he grabbed the gun and slapped him with it. The person said, "Who are you?" He started coming flying. Iron Super CJ looked at him and said, "CJ, calm down." He said, "No, I ain't gonna calm down till this guy's gone." And when he said, "Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," he calmed down. Like, CJ is not a bad person. It's just when you get him mad, you gotta run. You have to. There's no fighting. There's no fighting option. Cause once you fight, you're game over. If you don't apologize, it's game over for you. You gotta say sorry at least. And when you say sorry, he knows the fear in your eyes that you won't do it again. Clearly, everybody's afraid of CJ. Clearly, when they say they're not, they kind of are. Because they act all tough, and after for a while they get beat up and nose bleeding out of their eyes. The cops can't do them nothing. Yeah, then they get afraid because they can't do them nothing and the cops can't say nothing. So clearly CJ is actually a hero which can't be taught for nothing. C-Team could tell him some, but sometimes C-Teams will back off when he's mad. So really, truly, and truly, CJ is not a bad person. It's just his personalities are bad. The way how people have been hit, and that reminds them of something. They tell him this. Iron Super CJ asked him this: "Why do you punch men so much?" CJ told him the whole story, what happened, and Iron Super CJ was like, "Okay, but that doesn't mean that you can put your hands on men anytime you want to. Like, sheesh, you almost killed the person." And he said, "No, I didn't kill him. I was going to paralyze him." Which he claims he was going to do that, but he's clearly was kicking him too hard, which he was about to fly out the window when he hit him. So he said, "Dude, his head could have been the wall, and he could have a concussion because of you." And he said and he told him that's why he don't hang around with guys. That's when he told him. And Super CJ said, "Why he hang out around girls and guys? Some girls do the same thing." He said, "Well, technically, I don't have a problem with girls hitting guys, cause he just don't got a problem with that. I don't know why. Don't ask me that question. I didn't get too deep to that one. He didn't feel like saying all that. Well, technically, he said this though in the story. Well, the reason why I don't care when girls hit guys, cause girls gonna be girls, and I can't put my hands on women." He made a deal with God that he was not going to put his hands on women. He was going to talk to them. He said, "Why you don't talk to guys?" "Because I didn't make a promise that I was going to hurt men." He was like, "Exactly. Exactly. That's the dumbest idea I ever heard." So the sad part is they can make a clone, but he can hit girls that are not themselves, which I don't even know about that. I don't want to say it because it's kind of weird and crazy. But if they're if they're clones, he can't hit them at all. Because if he does hit the person, the girl's connected to the clone, then you're technically hitting the real girl. Which they was hitting CJ, which they was actually hurting the real CJ. So they said, since he's a clone, he's connected to the real CJ. A clone's going to be connected to you as a brother or a sister. So if you punch the person going to feel the same pain the clone can. So clearly you're just beating up your friend or your mother or something like that. So technically you're fighting the clone, but you're actually hurting the other person. They said we gotta find a way to kill the guy without killing CJ because he was connected by him by blood related. Which I don't know how Satan got the DNA from him, but hey, it was weird. Then CJ started getting upset. Satan was like, "Where'd you pick axes?" He was like, "Oh, I left them at home like a dummy." He thought it was kind of smart. RCCG thought it was kind of smart because all the girls touches his items and their fingerprints are full of DNA in him. He was like, "Well, since I don't have your items, it looks like I'm going to have to use a set." He was like, well, technically Satan got somebody out the cage in hell, so CJ started getting upset. Satan started getting upset, and he was like, "Don't get upset." He was like, "Why? I don't got the DNA." He was like, dude, he has the DNA. And Satan was like, where? And he showed a piece of hair of two different... He can't have the two same DNA or it won't work. And all he needs is the crystal, and that's the one thing they didn't get. But they did got the classic crystal and the unknown crystal. They want to use those two to power the machine. Clearly what his plan was, destroy Earth and make Earth never exist, and make hell always exist. So clearly heaven and Earth was never going to exist, and CJ would die. That was just their whole plan, and every time they do that, CJ destroys their plan, and it's close to exceeding, but at the same time failing. Because the machine mainly, sometimes when if he does get stuck, mainly the machine don't work, or it's probably CJ already took the wires out of it, like smart pants. And mainly the wires are took out of it by CJ, and they was like, how the wires are taken out? CJ's tied up. He was like, have you checked the trunk? They looked at each other. And then they start getting weird because CJ can teleport and make himself as the same person, make him look realistic. Satan was like, well, he did got me on that one. Because he didn't know, because Satan can't tell when it's a real person or not. Because CJ can make himself 3D mode, which he can make the clone as 3D, make him look like he actually mad, which he actually got out. And it's like, how did he get out so easily? Which he has his uncle was fried up to his brain, and they had an evil guy called Dr. Also. Yeah, it's a weird name, trust me. I make weird names sometimes. Dr. Also was a spring person. CJ said, Iron Super CJ said, no types can defeat him. Guess what he said? Is he made out of spring locks? Iron Super CJ said, yes, how do you know that? He said, spring locks tend to fail when they get wet. And Iron Super CJ looked at him and said, well, if you try to get him away, he's going to dodge every hit. He's like, there's one type move that we didn't try. It's water. And he said, I'll fight you at the ocean. Because really, CJ controls water, so he can make the ocean go up, every single part, and he can't move or fly, or teleport, because the ocean goes 10 times faster than teleportation. And his teleportation pops up late. Satan didn't help with that. But he destroyed him for good when Satan died, and CJ was like, oh well, he's dead. let's get some talk. He was like, well, there's a killer on the loose, so we might as well go. He was like, oh yeah, you got the two girls. And our Super CJ said, do you ever think before you say something? In which he really don't, because CJ don't even think that much. When it comes to schoolwork, CJ went to school and called a teacher a liar. So clearly he don't think. And he can solve a math problem faster than a teacher can. So clearly he didn't have to go to school. He just want to go to school to just make a teacher quit her job. Then she said, okay, I'm going to throw you a math test right now. A+ on every question and never got it wrong. All the way to pre-K, all the way to 12th grade. He was like, that's impossible. I never taught you all this. He said, well, I don't have to be taught. I just know. And CJ was like, well, the teacher was like, well, while you're in school, he was like, oh, I just want to see the look on you. I just want to see the look on your teachers' faces when I'm in school. Oh, great. Here comes the smart aleck again. Which I'm not a smart aleck. I'm technically smarter than your head. I can solve a math problem 10 times faster than you can imagine. Which CJ solve a bigger, which teachers can't solve. They can solve an equation, but CJ can solve a bigger equation, which his brain is electrical shock. Means his brain works 10 times faster than a regular human can. And best part being about him being that player, he can never get sick. Which the flu started and they said the deadly flu, you gotta stay in quarantine. CJ was never quarantined because he can never get sick. He could be around his family when they're sick because he can't get sick. So they gave him the results and they said his immune system is the highest they ever seen. no human or no hero had the highest immune system. He is immune to sickness. Means that he can get sick and the next day he'll recover. Means that he gets stronger every minute he gets sick. That's why he powers up in his sleep all night, and they be like, yeah, he's probably sick, so we're going to leave him alone. 12 a.m. he wakes up in the morning. They don't know why, but he just does. And 8 a.m., 12 through 8. And he's up for the rest of the day. CJ says he never sleeps. Because really, he's on the C team all day, on the phone all day. Calling some people randomly, 911 calling them. Because sometimes 911 can't save the world all the time. And they know C team could do anything to stop the situation because CJ's there. They'll be like, well, CJ's open 24 hours a day. Means he's open day and night. Seriously, CJ's open 24/7. Means 24 hours, 7 days a week. Y'all should know that already. And they always call him, and he's the only person that answers the phone, so they only answer one phone call. A lot of 911s, he answered every phone call. Yellow, yellow, yellow. They looking at him like, is he Jesus or something? He's like, no, I'm not. I'm just a hero that I can answer more than one phone call than y'all can. Clearly, they let him in all night, and he's mainly on the phone writing down most stuff, and he does the stuff. Which he is faster, and he gets it done faster. One time, he said a story, and the cop thought, oh, you better, let me see you do something. Which he said the whole story that what happened to the fire. There was 30,000 kids and no fireman. Every fireman backed up because they couldn't do it. It was too dangerous. They said, I ain't going there. And he was like, okay. CJ said, okay, y'all just little babies. And when they looked at him, they said, oh, you can do better? He said, yes, I can. I can survive 24 years in a fire. And it's like, no, you can't. He ran in there and got every person out before the building tumbled. And when the building tumbled, it tumbled right on top of him. They threw the child, and one of his teammates caught the little baby. The mother was happy, but instead, C-Team, they were also scared because they thought CJ got injured. Clearly, when they looked, he tapped Iron Super CJ's shoulder, and he's like, why y'all looking in there? And they all looked because they saw him, like literally saw him. The whole building hit him. He looked up and threw the child. Which Iron Super CJ caught him in time with one-handed. But the building tumbled on him. Everybody's saying, how did he survive that? The police officer was even curious. So every fireman quit their job. And they said, well, every fireman can't do it because the fire's too dangerous. So guess what? They said he knows that CJ's going to say the word again. So he did exactly he said. Well, y'all don't have to quit y'all job all cause I did something amazing. Which they said, yes, we can. He's like, no, y'all don't. Y'all can't just quit y'all job all the time. He's like, I might not be here for the next invention. I know where I'm going. And they said, where you going? I'm going to be an angel guardian with the girl I know. And they didn't know what he was talking about, and they said, he will be watching over this world, which he's going to be the son of legend. Means he got an important job to do, which is his responsibility to do stuff. Which is his own responsibility. So he went fought the good versus evil, which that's why I made a story good versus evil, which all the good characters versus the evil characters like Venom. Well, Venom is good and bad. Deadpool's good and bad. So I couldn't add them people in there. I took Venom out right definitely. Because Venom was a good person. He's a bad person, villain, and a good person. It depends what type of person he's in. It depends what type of person. Technically, what I think, my realistic story, it depends if the person is good, the Venom will turn good. If he's bad, the Venom will turn evil. That's how I think it will work. Which I thought, like the Venom movie, Eddie was a good person. He was trying to talk into Venom to not hurt nobody. Which Venom changed his mind and wanted to protect the world. That's why Venom protects the world now. And CJ, like CJ is a good person, just it depends what type of move you did to him to make him evil. Which he's not evil, technically, he's a good person. This whole story lines up to his power-ups. And the reason why he's all like that, because they taught him how to be Satan was teaching him how to be evil. He was doing good things, so Satan punished him by trying to cut his head off. Clearly, it didn't work, because the machine breaks when he screams. So, clearly, he can control anything with his mind, really. So, yep. That's the story of CJ, and he became a C-Team leader, and well, technically, it's not done yet. We're almost done, clearly. Then, some bad happened. Satan became a dragon, and which he said, well, I quit trying to destroy the world. If I can't destroy the world, I'll do it myself. And he started becoming the dragon. And CJ started becoming the knight, which I don't know how that ended out, but CJ became the Dark Knight. Y'all, I know how y'all are. Y'all don't like knights and princesses, some of y'all. I was like, well, technically he's not the knight, he's the Dark Knight. Satan is the devil dragon, which is evil enough where he can fire the whole place and catch the whole place on fire. CJ is the Dark Knight, which he can, well, he's supposed to be called the Light Knight, I think. But he's actually called the Dark Knight, and no other than that, he's the Dark Knight. So he slayed the dragon with the head, and Satan was defeated for good. He won the battle, and they made a constitution, a medal, to earn his victory. Which they said, how do you get the black eye? He said, I painted my eye. Which they thought he got black eye. He just wanted to make it realistic. He painted his eye. He didn't really get black eye. They was like, oh, you didn't really get black eye? Yeah, he said, oh, I just fell in paint. It's like, oh. And yeah. So, yeah. And everything happened to him and saved the world. And once the world was saved, then he knew what happened and what he has to do. Then he started realizing that he found angel guardians that said, we'll be watching you. If you do die, we'll heal you in 1,000,000,000 years. If you can't heal in darkness more often, then we'll come and heal you. Which CJ is half dead, so clearly he can't heal in darkness forever. So, and when Satan put him in the black hole, he healed and got stronger in the black hole, took all the darkness out and nothing but light. So clearly CJ bust out of the black hole and became a light hole. So CJ bust out of it and fought him with Darkness X. So Darkness X appeared in Jesus, so he was like, you. And he said, I am your Godfather for now. Until you shall learn that the real power of me is not who I am right now. It's who you will be taught in the future. So CJ said, well, I don't want a godfather right now. I want a father that's going to protect me. And he said, you'll find your real family soon. But you can't heal your family because you don't got their souls. He said, that's why I can heal other people except my family. So yeah. So yeah, this is the end of the story, and yeah, that's how everything turned out. I know some of y'all was asking me, why is he half dead, all that stuff. That'll be for the next video if I make another house. I might make an iron house next. Ooh, yeah, iron house. And a coal. Ooh, maybe a coal house. Ooh, maybe diamond. Oh wait, I already made a diamond house. Ooh, maybe cobblestone house or a gem house. Yeah, full of gems. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that might be good. Ooh, that might be awesome. Yeah, gym house. Yeah. Yeah, I ain't gonna want to mine it, cause if I mine it, then it won't be a house no more. I'll technically destroy the house by gyms. But yeah, I might be able to do that. Maybe I might do some coal too. Yeah, I already said that before, but maybe gold or lapset, cobblestone, maybe something that's awesome. I might be able to do a mod on here too. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Leave a like down in the comment below. How you like the story so far? The story's not done yet. Which CJ is a story that I made up, a character I made up. I know how y'all say CJ's fake and all that. No, he's clearly not. He's just a hero that been misunderstood, and he wanted to be loved and all that. He couldn't learn how. Really, his true story is he never learned how to love people and never he gives respect, but he just don't know how to love people. That's what Jesus told him. So he was like, really? No wonder why I can't love my friends or my family or my girlfriend. He's like, because you don't know love. You don't know what it feels like to be loved. Because once that abuse happened, he forgot everything. His whole memory wiped away. Which I make comic books sometimes. Once I'm done with I made a comic book one time, Sonic XZ versus Knuckles. Ooh, that was a good comic book. It was like Knuckles had all powers again. And, yeah, it was good. Ooh, yeah, diamond. Must mine. No, I don't want to mine it. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Mine. No. Yes. No. Oh, I wish I never made this house. It looks so good to mine. Ooh, I just can't stand it. Just have to mine it. Just a little nibble. No, I don't want to mine it. No, don't want to mine it. Maybe just a little nibble won't hurt. Get this right here. Just a little nibble. Just a little nibble. I just want to mine it. Just a little nibble. I can't take it. Just a little nibble. I just want a nibble. Just a little nibble. I want to mine! I want to mine it! Mine! 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 Must mine it!